Hi, glad you could join me today for a story. The book I'm going to read today is about a little girl who wanted a pet. Do any of you have a pet? There's all kinds of different pets, aren't there? You can have dogs, cats, birds, fish. I know I always wanted to have a pet, and I'd go and ask my dad if I could get one. Well, in our story, the little girl asks her mom if she can have a pet. And she asks for different kinds of pets. And her mom always tells her no. I'm sure some of you have heard no. And then she gets her mom to promise she can have a pet. But wait till you see the kind of pet that she has. The book we're reading today is called Sparky. Do you know what kind of animal this is on the front? It's a sloth, isn't it? And if you know anything about sloths, they're really, really slow. And the word Sparky means, wow, you got some energy. Do they look like they go together? Let's see. So Sparky by Jenny Alfill. And the pictures are done by Chris Applehans. Sparky, and we have a cool poster that you'll see a little later in the book. I wanted a pet, a bird, or a bunny, or a trained seal. My mother said no to the bird, no to the bunny, and no, 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 no to the trained seal. I asked her every day for a month until she finally said, you can have any pet you want as long as it doesn't need to be walked or bathed or fed. I made her promise. Then I went to the school librarian, Mrs. Kinklebaum, who knows everything in the world, pointed me to volume S of the Animal Encyclopedia. An encyclopedia is a big book that tells you about animals or other things. This is what I found. Sloth. Sloths have been known to sleep more than 16 hours a day. They sometimes hang upside down in trees, barely moving for long periods of time. They survive by eating leaves and drinking the dew that collects in them. It's said that sloths are the laziest animals in the world. My sloth arrived by express mail. He was about the size of a medium-ish dog with a flat nose and a monkey face. My mother wasn't happy. But a promise is a promise, I said. I think he looks awful cute in that box. Sparky, I decided, that'll be your name. I took him outside to his tree. Sparky went right to sleep. I made a sign and put it under the tree. It says, guard sloth, enter at your own risk, for Pearl. It was 2 days. She's out. How do we know it's nighttime? And then she's out in the rain. It was 2 days before I saw him awake. He didn't know a lot of games, so I taught him some. We played King of the Mountain, and I won. They both started out down here. Did he move? We played hide and seek. and I won. We played Kung Fu Fighter, and I won. We played Statue, and Sparky was very, very good. Do you know what it means to play Statue? You stay as still as you can. That weekend, Mary Potts came over to investigate. Let me show you what Mary Potts is like. This is a picture of her room. Do you know what all these things are? She got awards for doing things. Before she even took off her coat, Mary said, "Let me see your new pet." I had some worries, but I took her out to Sparky's tree. He opened his eyes and looked at us. Then he closed them again. I rubbed his belly, but it was too late. We stood there for a while, watching him sleep. His fur ruffled gently in the breeze. "I feel sorry for you," Mary said. "My cat can dance on her hind legs, and my parrot knows 20 words, including God and ice cream. Sparky knows tricks too," I told her, but she didn't believe me. The next day, I made a poster and nailed it to the tree outside Mary Potts's house. And this says, "Trained Sloth Extravaganza. Countless tricks to mystify you. Just 7 days away." That means she gave herself 1 week to teach him all she wanted him to learn. All week we trained in secret. Sometimes Sparky slept through practice and I had to poke him awake. Sometimes he forgot what he was doing and we had to start over. Sometimes he took so long to fetch that I went inside and had dinner while I waited. I was starting to think the poster had been a mistake, but a promise is a promise. On the day of the Trained Sloth Extravaganza, my mother set up lawn chairs. 3 people came to see Sparky perform. My mother, Mary Potts, and Mrs. Edwin, the crossing guard. Mrs. Edwin approved of Sparky because he never ran in the street. Sometimes dogs get out and they run down the street, and sometimes cats are outside too. "Do I look like a ringmaster?" I asked my mother. "You look interesting," she told me. Her little cape matches the curtain she put up. Do you know what's on her head? That's called a colander. And you use that in the kitchen when you're draining like spaghetti and things like that. I put a little glitter on Sparky just before the curtain went up. I kept wishing I had written 2 tricks on the poster instead of countless tricks. "Play dead, Sparky," I said, and he did. "Roll over," I said, and he didn't. "Speak," I commanded. We all waited and waited. "Speak?" I said. Sparky looked at me. The only thing you could hear was the wind in the trees. "He has a very pretty coat, doesn't he?" Mrs. Edwin said finally. Coat means his fur. "You can't just invent a brand new pet like that," Mary told me. "A pet no one's ever even had." My mother came out with lemonade and cookies, but everyone said they had to be going. Sparky and I watched them. Then my mother made me put the chairs away. How does she look? She doesn't look very happy, does she? Afterward, I gave Sparky a cookie, but he ate it so slowly that I took it back again. It was getting dark out. I looked at him, and he looked at me. You could hear all the neighborhood dogs barking. I reached over and tagged him on his claw. "You're it, Sparky," I said. And for a long, long time, he was. Did you ever play tag? Yeah. Usually it's a fast game, isn't it? You run up and go, "You're it!" And then you take off. So she changed the game for Sparky. It's nice to accept people the way they are, isn't it? And animals. If you enjoyed this book and you'd like to learn more about sloths, you can go to our webpage and scroll all the way down to the bottom. And it says World Book Online. And if you click on there, you'll need your library card number. You can go and learn about sloths. It will read a little paragraph to you. And then it has a very short 15-second video so you can see what a real sloth looks like. I hope you enjoyed our time together. Have a great day, and don't forget to keep on reading. Hope to see you again soon.